We got snow. We haven't had any snow yet this year. The rest of New York has, well, upstate New York has been absolutely buried in it and has already had terrible storms, and we haven't had even a snowy day where the snow didn't stick. So it's so beautiful. I'm so happy. I love snow, and I feel like it's here for Vlogmas. I'm not gonna lie. I've got a little while, 15 minutes before we need to get going and get to the rental car place so I can get on my way. So I'm gonna have a little cup of coffee and sit in it just for a few minutes. Maybe do 2 rows on my fungus putty. I just had a little lunch in my car. I brought Thanksgiving leftovers again because I don't really need to eat out when our fridge is full of stuff. So I ate in the car. I got a little free coffee with my rewards from McDonald's, because I always forget about rewards points, and I remembered today. So I got a free coffee to get me through the afternoon. What is nice about travel days for work is that, like, the time I spent driving was part of the work day. So even though I feel like I've only been at work for like an hour, I've actually been here for like half the day. I've got the rest of the afternoon after lunch. I think we're gonna end up finishing at around 4, and I did notice that right nearby there's like a little antique store that I looked it up and it closes at 5. So I'm hoping after work we can pop into the antique store before I head to the hotel for the night. But I'm gonna go back to work, probably knit for a few minutes until my coworker's back and we can get back to work, and I'll see you when the work day's over. So I want to talk about the project that I brought with me, but as always, Mom, turn this off. This is a Christmas gift for you, and I'll be really, really sad if you see it now, please. Okay, so the only project I brought with me is the Vima collar that I'm making. I'm holding this Hobie sock yarn double for it. This was like a Black Friday special a couple years ago. And I had 2 skeins, so holding the 2 together should be just enough to make this DK weight pattern from Sorry Nordland. So it's this really pretty cabled collar, dicky, neck, whatever you want to call it. There seems to be a lot of disagreement over what these might be called, but Sorry Nordland calls it a collar, so I'll call it a collar. It's definitely going to benefit from some blocking because it's scrunching in quite a bit, but I love this cable pattern. They're so pretty. I've been working on it pretty slowly because it is decently high attention. The pattern does call to do the cable pattern on the back. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do the entire back in the seed stitch to match the side panels here. And then I talked about on my podcast that I plan to make a second one for my mom also, just because it's such a small item and I usually make her something larger. So I think a pair of them makes a better gift. And that one I'm probably going to do just garter stitch for the panels so that they're a little different. I did dig through my stash and I found 2 skeins of this Barocco Vento in this really great fluffy fuchsia color. This is 50% alpaca, 10% acrylic. No, I can read. 50% alpaca, 40% acrylic, 10% wool. I think there's just enough of these 2 to make it. So this is like working out really well as far as stash busting, like the perfect quantities. And I'm excited. So I'm not going to get to that other one today, but I just kind of have them in the same project bag with all my notions and everything, so that when I finish this one, I can cast that one on. But I think I might be able to finish part of this tonight. I don't know. I do have to edit this video, and that always does take a little longer than I think it will. I want to talk about that antique store. I did not think we were going to be doing a thrift haul in this video, but we are, because I had so much fun at this little antique store. It's in this teeny small town in Western New York called Albion, and they were only open till 5 p.m. I got out of work a little before 4 and scooted over there, and I'm so glad I did. It was not a huge space that they were in, but they had so many little booths crammed and they had so many good things, and it is a bit of a rural area, so there was a lot of really, really good prices, as small towns tend to have. So I thought I would show you all of the things I got. Well, most of the things I got. One of them is a gift and I'm not going to show it on here, but largely just nice little antique things I picked up, and most of them are crafting things. This store had a bunch of different like booths that had sewing things, some yarn, like vintage, not most of it wasn't vintage, but there was like secondhand yarn in a lot of the booths. There was an actual yarn booth from a local alpaca farm, and they had tons of like already made mittens and socks and things, and that seems to be their primary business, but they did have a little yarn section. I was very tempted by a particular skein there, and I almost did it, but I have such an extensive stash full of single or low quantity beautiful skeins that I'm struggling to find a use for, so I'm not allowing myself to buy single beautiful skeins anymore. But I found a bunch of other things, so let's talk. So first of all, a treasure chest. You know I love a treasure chest full of sewing supplies. It's kind of hard to see because it's all like saran wrapped in here, but you can kind of see along the back. It's all a full layer of like ribbons and bindings and things all along the bottom. And then there's a little layer of thread. And on top there's zippers and a package of bobbins and a little patch. I don't know. And it looks so good. So there is like a little inventory taped on here that says 22 spools of thread, 1 pack of bobbins, 1 iron-on embroidery patch, 7 zippers, 42 packages of seam binding, assorted colors, and a partridge in a pear tree. I'm trying to figure out a good order to do this in. So look at this cute. So what I'm talking about when I say small town, rural thrift or antique store, it's like a paper mache product, but it's got real wood base and finial at the top. They're really nice. I'm not totally sold on the pansy pattern. I feel like half the time I like it and half the time I don't. I might paint over it. I'm not sure. But this booth
was half off, so this item was $3. Like, it's so cute. Definitely perfect for my craft room. From the same booth, I don't know how well you can see it in this little bag, but it's a really cute little ceramic Dobermans. I just thought it was really nice. I'll give it my husband. A package of buttons. They're the sort of like woven leather wrapped buttons. They're big chunky ones. And then there's a smaller set, I think of 4 of the same in the bottom. This package was 50 cents. They did have a bunch of buttons, but I limited myself to just that one because a lot of them were little packets of like assorted buttons, and that's not always so easy to use. There are a couple pairs of nylon needles. This one booth had such a cute display of all of these metal needles kind of sticking out of a vintage, like, I don't know, store display, maybe a hardware store display. And they had a few nylon ones kind of tucked in with them. This one is really hard to see. It's a minty green color, and I don't know if it's showing up super well on camera, but I've never seen a set of nylons this exact color, and I thought it was cute. And then this one is a small circumference one, and those I have far fewer of. I tend to have the like 24 or 32s, so these were $1 a piece. That's a gift. And then the most exciting thing, I picked this up not knowing what it was, and I never put it down. In these little boxes, each of them is 3.5 ounces or 100 grams of cotton yarn. Let's take it out. Let's take it out and see what it's like, because it's all sealed up inside a bag, inside some boxes, so I haven't touched it. But it says soft ball, and it's got the old cotton logo on it. It says for knitters and crocheters. So it's 100% cotton yarn, I'm sure. The bottom says color Sierra, 1979. So this is like actually vintage. This is so cute. And it's this super, oh my gosh, it's so soft. I love this. This is the best find. This like fun pastel, muted pastel rainbow. And there's 3 balls of this. What a great find. I'm so glad I found this place just for this. So I buzzed through the store. I picked out all of these little things, and I thought, I guess I wasn't trying to spend a lot of money, and I knew they were all small prices, but I got up to the cash register and all of this was $19. It is so satisfying. It's so fun. I love the feeling of finding these vintage knitting and sewing supplies in the wild, and they're not overpriced. So what a super fun little excursion, and so unexpected. So for now, I am going to eat my dinner. I brought extra leftovers from home because I'm boring, and probably do my little embroidery piece for the evening. Oh, by the way, somebody pointed out in the comments of yesterday's video that the little sailboat is actually an elf that I was holding upside down. So I want to go get that and look at that because I think that's hilarious. Okay. This kills me. I was like so down on this calendar. Like, what the hell, a sailboat? Oh my God, it's not even upside down. It just is an elf. So it's not, I still think it kind of looks more like a sailboat than an elf. But it could be an elf with the little face, and then it's got the little pointed hat. Actually, what I might do is just kind of adapt this so it looks more like an elf. Like take out the black bit and maybe do the stripes all the way across. So instead of looking like a sail and a mast, it just looks like a hat. That's a good idea. I think I'll do that. But what is today's? A little bell. That's fun. I do think they started us off strong yesterday, since that was my first cross stitch piece ever, and that one was a lot more stitches than most of the days. So I'm glad that a lot of them are quite a bit lighter than the amount of stitches I had to do yesterday, because it was a little more time consuming than I thought it might be. Okay, I'm gonna eat my dinner and put on some comfy clothes and sit down and do this stitching, and then I will edit this video that you're watching right now so I can get it uploaded before midnight this time.